Hello, my name is Francesca Recchia. I am an independent researcher and writer, and I work mostly on the geopolitical dimension of cultural practices in countries in conflict, with a particular attention to intangible cultural heritage. There is a sort of an assumption that when we talk about heritage, we talk about something that is innocent. We can say something similar to a presumption of innocence. When we deal with heritage, we deal with uh, pretty things with a dimension that seems to be immune from external influences. Most of my work focuses on uh, this dismantling this presupposition, and I do this very much in line with what the movement connected to critical heritage studies does. That is, looking at how we think of heritage from a more politically engaged and politically loaded perspective. The critical heritage studies movement fosters us to think of what are uh, critical ways to engage with history, with how we represent that history and whose history is represented. And this brings us to an important question that seems banal, but in fact is not, which is, who do we preserve heritage for? And asking questions regarding who makes decisions and who decides for whom, obviously and inevitably brings us to the realm of politics. So I think that it's impossible to think about heritage preservation, whether it's in its tangible or intangible dimension, without considering the political implication of the decisions that we make. And so, rather than drawing conclusion, most of the suggestion that come from a political approach to heritage is raising questions around, as I said, who do we preserve heritage for, and how do we prioritize what we choose to preserve. Also, how do we narrate stories of heritage bearers, and how far these very heritage bearers are involved in the decision of preserving their own heritage, and how this is going to be preserved, narrated, and made available to a broader public. And so this brings with itself a number of further questions that are connected to economic decisions, tourism, possibly over tourism, and also who directly or indirectly benefits from the decisions that are made around choices of heritage preservation. There is a further complication when we look at heritage preservation in countries in conflict, which is, one of my areas of specialty, which is connected to how we write stories, and mostly history with a capital H, of places that have been subjected to extreme violence. So the decision on how and what to preserve things that have been destroyed by warring powers also implies what kind of history we're going to narrate of a particular place. And so, in very, very broad strokes, this makes us understand how um, naive is the desire to think of heritage as a neutral and innocent space of action, and how, in fact, politically loaded and extremely complex making decisions in this space may or should be.